Hello and welcome to the HVAC Diaries. My name is Jessica, and I am a commercial and light industrial refrigeration and air conditioning apprentice here in Vancouver, BC, Canada. I've actually done one of these videos before. It was one of my very first videos that I posted, and the sound quality is just terrible. So I thought that I would re-record this today for you guys. And also, since I've got a couple of months of video taking under my belt now, I can add a little bit more value. This video is a list of reasons why I love my HVAC career. But today I'm also going to add why I dislike it. So I feel like it's important to give you like an all-round view of this career because let's face it, HVAC is not an easy option. It's not an easy career to have, but it is challenging and rewarding and lucrative once you're fully qualified. This career is pandemic and recession proof, so it's always going to be in demand. So I think it's a great career. And these reasons that I'm going to give you are in no particular order. I'm not ranking them from 1 to 10 or however many I have. These are just reasons why I love my HVAC career. So one of the reasons is that no 2 days are the same. The variety in my life is amazing. I get to do so many interesting, cool things every day. And today is not anything like it was yesterday. And I had a bit of a hard time with that when I first started because I came from like a corporate finance office background environment where everything was kind of the same day to day, and anything out of the ordinary was always in the calendar for weeks. It was always planned ahead. So I had a really hard time with that kind of unscheduled, unplanned life where I like to kind of know what's coming up and how I can prepare for that. So that was one thing that was a hard thing for me to get over. But now I really like the variety. Even though I have a full day planned, it can change with a phone call. If any of our freezer clients call and their freezer's down, they become priority number one and everything else like rejigs in our day and we get to them first. And I guess that would bring me to my second point is that we're solving real problems for people. Sometimes they will greet us at the door like they're waiting there for us and they'll open the door and they'll be like, oh, you guys are here. I'm so happy. And then if we're able to solve their problem, they're just like so thankful. Whether it's getting a cooler back up, a walk-in cooler, a walk-in freezer where everything is kind of, all their product is dying, or if people are just really uncomfortable. So that's really cool. We get to solve somebody's problem. One of the things I dislike is that sometimes we have really, really bad news for people. The worst thing is to do a regular service on a rooftop unit in winter, only to find that the heat exchanger's got a big old rusty hole in it. And we literally have to shut their heating down and say, you can't have heating until either the heat exchanger is replaced or the rooftop unit is replaced. That's really fun. Or sometimes we give them the bad news that they've got to spend thousands of dollars on their equipment just to get it running. That's really rough. We've had people literally cry, and that's like heart-wrenching. It sucks. Another cool thing is that we get to go to so many different cool, interesting places. I've been in factories that make cardboard, they process grains and wheat, frozen foods. I've been in glass factories, tile factories, places that make stone kitchen and bathroom counters. We've been in laundromats, we've been in packaging companies, we've worked at sawmills and metal foundries. We get to go to all the cool places. My favorite though is being on a rooftop. You're kind of in your own little world up there. If the weather is nice, that's even better. I guess that leads into my next dislike, is that sometimes we have to work in the worst weather. It's snowing and people don't have heat. We're going on the roof. Last year, we had to work in a residential attic, and we don't do a whole lot of residential work. But this attic, you guys, it was like a fiberglass sauna in there. It was so hot, and every bit of exposed skin was so itchy. We just covered in fiberglass and we're itching, itching, itching. Another reason I love this career is the physical aspect of it. I'm always moving my body, sometimes in very interesting ways. Sometimes I'm crawling underneath a catering truck. Yesterday I was in this kind of position. I don't know if you can see. I had to hold a pipe with this hand and I had to hold something up here. And I was just holding this position for, I don't know, a good 5 minutes. And my arms are killing me today. And I find that almost every single installation job, whether we're installing brand new equipment or if we're replacing something, my body aches for a few days afterwards. And I take my physical fitness very seriously. I try to go to the gym 5 days a week because I feel like I'm a very petite person. I feel like I need to be able to keep up with the boys a little bit. So I work on my strength a lot. And I'm nowhere near as strong as the guys are. And I don't think I ever will be. But I do take care of my physical health. And not sitting at a desk all day, literally climbing up ladders and scurrying under trucks and reaching for things, carrying things. We got to carry some really heavy things. Our tool bag alone is like 35 pounds. So it's a very, very physical job. And I love that. I haven't mentioned crane day yet. Crane day is so exciting and so stressful because I'm the one that arranges the cranes. And you guys, it's always a sleepless night the night before. And when the crane arrives, it's always like, did I get the right crane? A, is it going to reach the place we need to reach? B, is it going to have enough power to lift the units that we've... Oh, it's so stressful. But crane day is also so exciting. It's so cool to see those huge pieces of equipment flying through the sky. It's not really flying, it's very safe. But I love crane day. It's very exciting. I mentioned the fact that you get to solve problems for people. So that's one thing for sure. But the other thing is you have to solve your own problems too. For example, one of the things I couldn't get over when I first started was the fact that you purchased a replacement compressor which has the exact same model number, same footprint and everything, and it arrives and the pipes are in a little bit of a different configuration. So now it doesn't fit. Now you got to retrofit this thing into the system, and there's always some kind of challenge. If we're replacing ceiling units, there's always some kind of mechanical problem hindering our access to it. There's always a challenge to overcome. There's always a problem to solve. So if you have a problem-solving kind of mind, HVAC is a great career for you. And I'll also talk about becoming a technician. So I'm going through an official apprentice program here in British Columbia. I'm about halfway through my apprenticeship. I've done about 3 years in the field, and I've done 2 levels of refrigeration school. And I've probably got another 3 years in the field to go, and probably another 3 years at school. I've got 2 more sessions left. And what I want to say about that is, while you're going to school, you're working, so you're earning money. And in Canada, you can also apply for apprenticeship grant. Men get up to $2,000 in their apprenticeship, so $1,000 per level, and then you can do it twice. And women get $3,000 times 2, so a total of $6,000. So not only are you making money while you're working and learning, but you're also getting these grants if you're in Canada, which is so cool. If you go to university, you're likely to have a student loan, which you will probably be paying off for, I don't know, how long do student loans take to pay off? 10 years? You come out of school, out of university, with this massive loan, this debt that you have to pay. When you come out of trade school, you don't have any of that debt, and you already have working experience. Not to mention the fact that most recently we've found out that we are an essential service, so we are recession-proof and pandemic-proof. We worked all through COVID, and I think that's an important thing to have in a career these days. So I have been speaking a little bit about the things that I dislike about my HVAC career, but here's a couple more. So one of them is working in really, really cold places, like blast freezers that are like minus 40 degrees. My fingers don't work when it's that cold. they just don't work. And my brain is so focused on what my hands are not able to do that I can't really focus on the job. So I don't know if that's something that comes with time and experience, but I really, really dislike working in super cold climates. Working in the rain all the time, it's pretty rough, but I do have really good work gear, like rain jackets and suits and everything, so I'm equipped for it. I just don't like it, and I'll complain about it all day long. One thing I found really difficult being an apprentice and learning this trade is that there are so many names that describe one thing. So what's an example? Like a combustion blower motor can also be called a venter motor or an inducer motor, or like I said, a combustion blower motor. Like, it's all the same thing, but there are different words to describe them. So sometimes I'll call the supplier and they're like, do you mean this? And I'm like, oh no, do I mean that? I don't know. So as I'm going, I'm learning all of the different lingo for all of the different things. I get very overwhelmed with decision making, like deciding what to have for dinner every day. I hate it. It is such a stress for me. So knowing what I'm wearing every day has simplified my life so much. I so appreciate wearing a uniform. So knowing what I'm wearing every day is actually really helpful for me, and it takes one piece of anxiety out of my life. I think I've covered everything. I did have a list, so I think I've covered everything. But I think in general, this career is a great one for anybody that's interested in the trades. It's not for everybody. There are some really hard days. Sometimes my body aches. Sometimes my fingernails are just really in poor shape. Today my arms hurt because of a job we did yesterday. Sometimes summertime hours are just so long and hard working in the sun. But you guys, I wouldn't change it for anything. If anything, I wish I could go back and be younger and start sooner. Then I would be more ahead in my career now at this age. So my message to anybody is, if you are considering a career in the trades, think about HVAC. It is hard, but it is worth it, just like anything in life, right? So if you have any questions, hit me up. Also, check out www.womeninhvac.ca. That's womeninhvac.ca. There's a bunch of resources on that page for you. But reach out. If you're on Instagram or on TikTok or any other social media, you can find me at HVACJess, HVACJess, and I would love to have a conversation with you. Happy to help answer any questions or help in any way that I can. Thanks for watching. See you next time on the HVAC Diaries.